محمد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. It is an important occasion. It is the night of the Shahadat, or the attack on Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, in which the entire creation is in huzn, is in mourning. And we, as the followers of Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, for us, we are all orphaned on this day. Also, it is the first probability of Laylatul Qadr, and we ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to make this majlis a majlis of noor, of ma'rifah, of learning, of enlightening, and make it an asset for us in our graves, in our barzakh, and in our qiyamah. A share of this reward of whatever will be learnt here, uttered here, said here, be delivered to all our loved ones, to all marhumeen, to all those who have been the followers of the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. All of them be blessed with the tawajjuh of Amirulmomineen alayhi salatu wassalam. The host of Azah when a majlis is held for Amirulmomineen is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. He is in Azah, he is in mourning, like what we have in all of these observances for Rasulullah and for Amirulmomineen. Both of them have been mentioned together. The title that we have for Amirulmomineen, Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, there are so many, in excess of 430 titles have been mentioned for this sacred Imam. The only title which belongs and deserves to him is Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salam. In a hadith we do find, in lots of ahadith, in fact, that Amirulmomineen was the title given to the Imam by the Almighty Allah. So we also, when we address or when we write, this Amirulmomineen should be written, should be mentioned, so that we know who we belong to, and also whoever hears, he knows that where we are connected to. Amir means Sultan, means the commander, means someone in high authority. All these are the different meanings of Amir. And even in the battles that Rasulullah participated and fought, he appointed someone as the commander, and that commander was known as Amir. No one before him, no one after him was ever appointed as someone as the whole sole authority for the Mu'mineen, as Amirulmomineen, the custodian, the commander, the sultan, the master, whatever you can say, that is Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. And again, this title, it belongs only and only to Imam. You can't even address any other Imam with the same title, or anyone else with this title. This is a title which has a copyright for Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Other titles that we have for Amirulmomineen, I'll just mention one or two names of the Imam and then we'll get to the main topic, and that is Abu Turab. Abu Turab, Turab in Arabic means dust, dirt, clay. So it means father of dust, that is associated with the weak. There are people in the society who are weak. There is no one who could be like Amirulmomineen, and he has mentioned as well that no one can copy to be like him. It was time for Imam's lunch. The khadima, the maid, she brings a bag. The reporter, he says that I thought it's something maybe very precious that is in that bag, that it's been tied up like that, and it's being given to the Imam. I waited to see what is in that bag. And from that bag he took out a little bit of bread. A bread not even made of wheat, made of barley. When I saw that it was so stiff, it was so tough, it was so rough, I said to the maid, this old man, Amirulmomineen, do you feed him like that? Did you have nothing else to give him? She says that he doesn't allow anything else but this. And that bread also, when Imam had to break to eat, it was so stiff that he had to break it with his knee. On his knee he had to break it into pieces, and a little bit of that was eaten. The reporter, he says, at least you should have dipped it in some oil to make it a little softer. He doesn't allow. He doesn't allow. That is Amirulmomineen. And he says that you can't copy me, don't try to copy me, no one will be able to do that. And that is that height of humbleness, that he wants to be lower than the lowest in the community, in the society. So when it is said Abu Turab, it means father of the weak, father of the dust, father of the dirt and clay, or most humble. Or the term that we use in English, it's down to earth. So that is the nearest thing that we can bring to Abu Turab, down to earth. And this title was given to Amirulmomineen by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now when it was given over here, there is the difference of opinion among the Mufassirin, among the historians, as to the exact date and when it was given. But many of them are of this opinion that on a number of occasions, Rasulullah, he addressed Amirulmomineen as Abu Turab. In one of these battles when they were returning, Amirulmomineen was tired. He was having a little nap. He was sleeping, lied down on the earth, on the dirt, on his side, and a little bit of this dirt and dust, it settled on Amirulmomineen. Rasulullah comes and sees that how beautiful, how he looks with that sand all over him. There says, Abu Turab, wake up, get up. So the first time this title Abu Turab was given to Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam by Rasulullah. Now, that is Amirulmomineen. And the other thing that we learn from this Abu Turab, that among the most loving addresses the apostle had to Amirulmomineen was this Abu Turab. Although he addressed him in many different names and titles, but this was the sweetest, you can say, and the most loving address of his. And by the pure souls and spirit of the Prophet, and this title that was given to Amirulmomineen, Abu Turab, it so happens that from that moment, Amirulmomineen alayhi salam was given the news of the past and the future until the day of judgment, that by this dirt, by this earth, by this dust and clay. Among the other names of even when we have in Quran, وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا, that on the day of judgment, people, they would say that we wish we were dust. Here Mufassirin say that we wish we were dust, we were turab, means that we wish we were with Abu Turab. That is, we wish we were with Abu Turab. We also, our fate would have been different. We wouldn't have been punished here as we are being destined and confined in the azab of the Almighty. So, Ya laytani wa yaqul al-kafiru ya laytani kuntu turaba. Kuffar, the kafir, will say, we wish we were with Abu Turab. But then it's going to be too late. Then whoever wants Abu Turab has to get him from this world. After this, nothing can happen. Whatever we want, we have to collect that from here in this world. And we are blessed that we are among the followers, among the adherents, among the lovers of Abu Turab, salamullahi alayhi. One of the other titles that is given to Amirulmomineen is Siddiqul Akbar. That is, Imam says that Ana Siddiqul Akbar. Siddiq means trustworthy, Akbar means great. Says, I'm the greatest who could be the truthful. And says that, and no one will be addressed with this title after me, but that he is a liar. And Imam says, I offered prayers 7 years before mankind before mankind. I am that Siddiqul Akbar. So Siddiqul Akbar also is the title of Amirulmomineen. Elsewhere, another title that he has is Faruqul A'zam. Now all these titles have been stolen, have been taken away from the Imam, and they've copied it on them. It doesn't fit whatsoever in whichever angle you can try and see. Says Faruq hadhihi al-ummah. Rasulullah, he says, addressing Amirulmomineen, Faruq hadhihi al-ummah. That is, يفرق بين الحق والباطل. That is, you want to know who is the distinction, or that what distinguishes haqq from batil, right from wrong. If you want to see, says, this is Ali. He is the one who distinguishes haqq from batil. Faruq A'zam, it is Ali Amirulmomineen. One of the other names is Ya'sub ad-Din. Ya'sub ad-Din wa anta Ya'sub ad-Din. That is, you are the head of the Mu'mineen, the chief of the Mu'mineen. Ya'sub, it is said to this honeybee. In the comb of a honeybee, you see one queen bee, and then you've got hundreds or thousands of soldiers or bees who are working for that honeybee. Says Ya'sub ad-Din. That is, Amirulmomineen is that honeybee, the queen bee, who overrules, overpowers, who takes all those bees or forces and soldiers of those bees under his own custody, under his own care. That is Ya'sub ad-Din. One of the famous titles of Amirulmomineen is Haydar. Haydar means lion. And that is because of the bravery of Amirulmomineen, that he was never defeated. No one could ever defeat him. No battle did he participate, but that he won. And then in these old days of Amirulmomineen, in the battles that he used to participate, even in his youth it was the same. The companions, they used to tell him that, why don't you take a horse with you, and it's going to be easy if you want to go after someone and chase him and get rid of him. If you are riding on a horse, it's going to be quicker, faster, easier, and you can chase your enemies, kill them. Or if you want to flee, again that horse is there. It says, for that very reason, Ali never takes a horse. Because Ali never chases anyone in the battles. If someone fled away, he's gone. I never go after him to kill him. Nor do I ever flee away myself, nor do I escape for me to have a horse and to run away from that horse. So these were the tactics and policies of Amirulmomineen in the battles. Haydar means strong, means a lion, someone ferocious, someone very brave. And the reason why he was named as Haydar, over here there are two opinions. One of them, he resembled a lion in his might, in his bravery, and also the lion, it has got that might that he is the king of all the king of the jungle. That commander, being a commander or being the king, was reflected in this meaning of Haydar. And the other thing is that Imam was of a very strong build, a build with a thick neck, broad chest, heavy and strong arms. Now there's a term which is recited in the Maqatil on the Ashura, where Imam Hussein says that Anza'il Batin. Anza'il Batin, Batin, it's from batn, and sometimes people, they translate it as a belly, big belly, when that's not the case. Anza'il Batin for Amirulmomineen, you've seen a lion, the neck and the chest of the lion is connected to each other, as such it's a big chest and a big neck. So although the lion, it's not a very big or it doesn't have a big belly, it seems to be having a big belly when you look at it, but it's that might, the strength of that lion, the chest and the arms of his with the belly, they are all connected, and it looks big and that's strong. Says Amirulmomineen was given a special build. No one else was like him in that build. Very strong arms. His arms of Amirulmomineen, if someone in one of these speeches of Imam Khomeini he also has this mentioned, says his arms were like these iron arms, strong arms. No one could ever get those arms, copy those arms, get that bravery that was given to him, that was God given, that was divine. So Haydar, the name that is there, it is someone like a lion, brave, never defeated, and the built, a thick neck, broad chest, and heavy, strong arms. Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. We have riwayat that says Imam Sadiq alayhi salam that با دست ولا باب جنان کوبیدم از حلقه در نام علی بشنیدم. یعنی که خداوند جهان فرموده است شش دانگ بهشت را به علی بخشیدم. This is one. And then the hadith says that when mu'mineen will enter the heaven, there is a latch which is made of ruby, which hits a plate on the door, and when you hit that latch on that plate, there's a tune, or there's a rhythm, or there's a music, or there's a doorbell which says Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Here Marhum Allama Tabatabai, the Mufassir of the Al-Mizan, he says, because the owner of that heaven is Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salam. So when you ring the doorbell, that is what is heard. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. So Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salam, now all these dynamic qualities that you see, and at the same time diverse qualities are present in Amirulmomineen. You see that he is strong, brave, mighty in wars and battles. But when it comes to dealing with orphans and widows, that Ali, it's totally different personality. Or when he stands in worship, Amirulmomineen is totally a different person. That is all, he is drowned in worship before the Almighty, a servant who doesn't carry anything, doesn't have anything, as he recites in his munajat. Mawlaya ya Mawlaya, Antal Mawla wa ana al-abd. You are the master, I am the slave. Is it not as such that it is only the master who can have mercy on the slave? Says, you are rich, I am poor. You have everything, I am needy. And all those beautiful phrases that are there in those munajat of Amirulmomineen alayhi salam, which shows his height of humbleness, his height of piety, his height of being a slave and a servant of the Almighty Allah. Now this Amirulmomineen, with all these dynamic and diverse qualities that he has, he gives the most importance to salat, to prayers, being the first person of the Islamic Empire. Now that Islamic Empire of Amirulmomineen, it's not like today. All these Muslim countries that you see in the Middle East, it was one country. And it was governed and ruled by Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salam. He appoints Malik Ashtar to Egypt. Egypt, which is today the largest Muslim population, about 200 million Muslims are living there today, and also the history is such rich. There Imam appoints Malik Ashtar. Instructions given to Malik, who is the representative of Amirulmomineen, says, وَجْعَلْ أَفْضَلَ أَوْقَاتِكَ لِلصَّلَاةِ. Says Malik, you are being appointed and being sent over there as the first person representing me, or this Islamic rule of Amirulmomineen. Says you have to make the best of your times أَوْقَاتِكَ لِلصَّلَاةِ, for salat. So whatever that best of your time is, that has to be designated for prayers, for salat. Not that I was busy all day and then towards the end of the day quickly I just offer a few rak'at of prayers so that they don't go qaza and they are not missed. No. Imam's instructions are priority to salat. The best of your times should be given and dedicated to salat. And then Imam says to him, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ جَمِيعَ أَعْمَالِكَ تَبَعٌ لِصَلَاتِكَ. Says, whatever you will do, Malik, all of your actions, they follow your prayers. They follow your prayers. So, in practice, Amirulmomineen is inviting everyone towards salat. So that is that Amr bil Ma'ruf of Amirulmomineen to his representative, that first priority to salat, best of times to salat. All your actions, they will be reflected, that is, your salat is going to be reflected in all of your actions. Now, salat, and when we see the history of the Anbiya, if like Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam or Ismail, there Allah says that you clean and you purify this Masjidul Haram, as you are the custodians here. Now that you've built the Kaaba, you've purified and you have to clean this place. Why? So that people could come and worship here. So worship is important. Salat is important. So what we see in Amirulmomineen's life, that everything circles around prayer. Even when we look into these battles that were fought by Amir, the reporters, they say that those who were participating in the wars, he used to look at the sky every now and then. His companions, they say, Ya Ali, what are you looking at? He says that looking at if it is time for Zohr. He says, Zohr, we are amidst a battle, fighting our enemies right in front of us, under our nose. Imam says, Ala ma nuqatil. Why are we fighting? Says, it is for this salat. So that salat is established. So that salat prevails. So that deen of Allah, it prevails. So everything it is after salat. And we see that even the shahadat of Amirulmomineen takes place in this masjid. Many have been tortured and killed in salat. Zuhair stood in front of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein on the day of Ashura until the prayers of Imam ended, and he also passed away. So shuhada, we have many shuhada, even shuhada mihrab that you have heard, shuhada who died, who were killed in the mihrab, like we've got 4 in Iran, and we've got Shaheed Shaheed Ayatollah Baqir Sadr and Shaheed Arif Hussaini in Pakistan, Baqir Sadr here in Najaf, and many. All these are those sincere servants of Amirulmomineen who got connected to Amirulmomineen and somehow got a reflection on how they passed away in shahadat and amidst their prayers and in their mihrab of worship. So salat is important. We have to give importance to salat, especially in this lockdown when everything has been shut, and all those congregations and gatherings and jama'at, those blessings have been taken away from us. That sawab we don't have anymore. So there is something that was wrong that was done, as a result of which many of these special favors of Allah have been taken away. We ask Allah to remove this bala. Everyone is safe, those who are ill and ailing, suffering, and grant them with shifa and complete cure. And all of us also be enlisted among the best of the servants of Amirulmomineen, Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. Now, abandoning salat, not giving importance to salat, putting it away, it is the worst of sins that we see. In Quran, in the Akhirah, there are many conversations we do find in Quran between those to whom the hell will be assigned and between those who are in the heaven. Now here they say, what took you to the hell? They say, Lam naku min al-musallin. Those to whom the heaven is given, the inmates of the heaven, they ask that what took you to hell? The inmates of the hell, they say that Lam naku min al-musallin. We were not among those who offered prayers. So prayers we did not have in our life. So that was the reason that resulted them into ending up in the hell. So abandoning salat, it is hell. Salat, it's that master key to acceptance of all the worship that we have. Every salat, every action, whatever we do, it will be weighed and measured with salat. In qubilat qubila ma siwaha. If salat is accepted, everything else will be accepted. If that is denied and rejected, everything else also will be denied and rejected. Kullu shay'in min amalika taba'un li salatik. Imam says in Nahj al-Balagha that everything that you do, it follows your prayers. So everything is reflected in that salat. Salat, it is that first advice of all of the Imams, all of the Prophets, also the last wasiyya of all of the Prophets, of all of the Imams. So much of emphasis and importance was given by all of them for salat. So aqimis salat al-zikri, you keep up prayers for my remembrance, so that you remember me. Now all of these are some of the statements that we have regarding the importance of salat, and then how much we have to invest on these salat and prayers. And when we are the followers of Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, our performance also has to be a little bit different when it comes to prayers. So that what leads people towards deviation is losing prayers, lack of prayers, not giving importance to prayers, abandoning prayers, as a result of which we are abandoned. That hadith says that if we offer our prayers and it ascends to the skies, says however much of that prayer was accepted will be accepted, however much the remaining that part of the prayer which was not accepted will be thrown onto our faces, and that caller or that angel would say that Dhayya'aka Allah kama dhayya'tani. So salat would say that may Allah ruin you just like you ruined me. So someone who ruins prayers is ruined himself. Someone who abandons prayers is abandoned himself. So this is one of those beautiful blessings that Allah has bestowed upon us to get us connected to the Almighty, and via this tool, via this app, that is salat. So the better this app is taken care of, is downloaded properly, and we have the right connections when we ought to have them, and then use that app without any glitches, it will work. It will help us get to the Almighty Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And especially in these few nights that are remaining, we can work on it, and we can get to whatever we want. All the flaws that we have in our prayers, they need to be addressed. It is important. Every one of us, every second, all of this is a lesson to me. Every second that is passing from our life, it is slashing from our age and bringing us closer and closer to our grave. And the first thing that will be asked is this salat. So we have to work on it and get that salat fixed. Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, it is his night. Rasulullah, he delivered a sermon on the last Friday of Sha'ban, which is known as the Khutbah Sha'baniyah. A lengthy khutbah mentioning the virtues and the fada'il of the sacred month of Ramadan. Now when he completed the sermon, Rasulullah, he burst into tears. He started crying. Amirulmomineen says that, Ya Rasulullah, why do you cry? Ma yubkika ya Rasulullah, what makes you cry? Rasulullah says, Ya Ali, abki lima yastahillu minka fi hadha ash-shahr. I cry for what will be made lawful upon you in this month. كأني بك وأنت تصلي لربك, says as I can see that you are occupied in prayers to your Lord. وقد انبعث أشقى الأولين والآخرين, and that the most wretched from among the firstmost and the lastmost, he would come, he would attack you, and I see you, your head and your beard drenched in your blood and on your prayer mat in your mihrab of worship. Now here Amirulmomineen, that is the commander or the king or the sultan of all mu'mineen, the first question he asks is, ذَلِكَ فِي سَلَامَةٍ مِّن دِينِي, says, Ya Rasulullah, will my deen be safe when I will be attacked, when I will be killed? Now this is Amirulmomineen being attacked in the month of worship, in the mosque, in the Fajr prayers. That is what Rasulullah is revealing. And he asks, will my deen be safe, Ya Rasulullah? He in reply says, Fi salamati dinik, your deen will be safe, Ya Ali. And then says, Ya Ali, man qatalaka faqad qatalani, whosoever kills you has killed me. Whosoever hated you has hated me. Whosoever swears at you has sworn on me. Because you are like me. Ruhuka min ruhi, your soul is from my soul. And your core, your creation is from my creation. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala has created us too. He has chosen us too. He has appointed me as the Rasul. He has appointed you as the Imam, and whosoever denies you and your Imamat has denied me. And Ya Ali, anta wasiyyi wa abu waldi, and you are my successor. You are the father of my sons, and you are the husband of my daughter, my successor in my nation, in this world, and after my death. Says, your command is my command. When you forbid people, that is my forbidding. And I swear, أقسم بالذي بعثني بالنبوة وجعلني خير البرية أنك لحجة الله على خلقه. Says, I swear by him who created me, who appointed me as the Rasul for the creation, that you indeed are the hujjah, the argument upon the creation, and the trust that Allah has created. It is you, Ali. Now, on a night like tonight, after this sermon of Rasulullah, Amirulmomineen, he was a guest at one of his children's houses. One day he was a guest of Imam Mujtaba, a day he was a guest for iftar at his son Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and a day at Zainab, and tonight he is the guest of his youngest daughter, Kulsum. Says that father was here at my place and he was occupied in worship all the time. All the time he was occupied in worship, and he was worried as well. He dozed off for a while and then he asked his daughter to wake him up before Salat. She wakes him up and brings some water for him to renew his wuzu. And there says that I just saw, in this little nap that I had, I saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in my dreams. And there the Prophet, he said to me that soon, Ali, that very soon you will be joining me. Says, Ya Abul Hasan, innaka qadimun ilayna, you will be joining me, Ya Abul Hasan, very soon. And I can't wait to meet you. Your beard will be drenched in your blood, and you will be in your prayers, and how that mal'oon, he will attack you and you will be wounded and killed. At this statement of Amirulmomineen, Kulsum, she started wailing and crying, lamenting. And then she was quiet for a while. And then it was time for iftar. She brings the iftar to Amirulmomineen. And the iftar that she brings is just some bread with some salt and some milk. At seeing this tray with these 3 pieces of food, Amirulmomineen looks at Kulsum and says, Kulsum, when did you see your father have such a lavish iftar? She wanted to take away the salt. He says, put the salt and take away the milk. That little bread and that salt, with that Imam, he broke his fast. And again he occupied himself in worship. Every now and then he used to look at the sky. Says Kulthum that I was just so much worried that night, and I was pleading and I was crying. And Imam, he rested for a while. And then again he woke up, he occupied in worship. I never saw him that much drowned in worship and tasbih and the recitals of the Almighty so much as he was occupied that night. Says, in the morning when it was time for him to go to the masjid, Kulthum says that, Father, stay home, I'll ask Brother Hassan to go. She quickly goes to Imam Hassan's house and informs as to what has happened and how father was worried. Now she comes back home, and then Imam, when he wants to go towards the masjid, looking at the sky, that this is Hiya Layla. Hiya Layla means this is that night. This is that night that I was promised. I have never been lied, nor was I ever lied. And this message was given to me, and this is the time when I have to meet my Lord. Now, Amirulmomineen Ali alayhi salam, he got ready and he is going to the mosque. Now, he had some ducks in his house. Those ducks were given to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, were gifted to him by someone. Now, generally at that time of the night, these chicken and ducks, they should be asleep. Says when Amirulmomineen got ready to go to the mosque, these ducks, they started screaming, crying, holding on to the Aba of Amirulmomineen. All of them were saying that, do not go, Ya Ali, do not go, Ya Ali, don't leave, Ya Ali. So even those animals, they had that message, they knew what is going to unfold. They held the Aba of Amirulmomineen, not allowing him to go. Imam comes out of the house, opens the outer door and wants to leave now. Now this time in the door there was a nail. That nail, his Abba got stuck into the nail. All this is being observed by Kulthum. The Abba got stuck in the nail now. And all of that was an indication that Ali, don't go. Ali, don't go. Even the nail was saying the same. Here the ducks and the hen, they were saying the same. The birds were asking him not to go. Imam recites this sha'r of his saying, Ushdud hayazimuka lil maut fa innal maut laqika. That Ali, get ready to die. That maut, that death, it's fast approaching, will meet you. And then you are going to meet your Lord now. ثم قال اللهم بارك لنا في الموت. Imam starts saying that Allah, make this death mubarak to me. Allahumma barik lana fi liqa'ik. Allah, make this meeting of yours mubarak to me. Now this is Amirulmomineen, and he cries and he prays that Allah makes his death mubarak and this meeting, the Almighty God, mubarak. Kulthum informs the brother about Imam Mujtaba of whatever unfolds here in this house. Imam, he reaches the Masjid Kufa. Now, the distance from his house to Masjid Kufa is also not a lot. There are two ways how to get to the masjid. One, the route that Imam took, and there's a route that Imam Mujtaba took. So by the time, so Imam comes to the masjid here. Comes to masjid and sees that there are some who are asleep. Among them is this Mal'un ibn Muljam, sleeping on his belly. Imam comes and says to him that, I know what your intentions are, and don't sleep like this on your belly, because he had hidden that sword under his belly, that sword, the poisoned sword. Imam says to him that don't sleep on your belly, as this is the sleeping of Iblis, of Shaitan. Sleep on your right, which is the sleeping of the ulama, or sleep on your left, which is sleeping of the hukama, the wise, or sleep on your back, which is the sleeping of the prophets. And Imam says to him, لو شئت لأنبأتك بما تحت ثيابك. If you want, I can tell you what is under your shirt. I can tell you. Now ثم تركه, Imam leaves him. واتجه إلى المحراب, comes to the mihrab, occupies himself in some nawafil, and performed very lengthy ruku and very lengthy sajdas in this prayer. Imam completes his prayers and then he goes to the ma'zana. Ma'zana is that place where you stand at the height to recite the azan. Ma'zana. He comes to the ma'zana, recites the azan, and the report over here says that the azan that was recited by Amirulmomineen was heard by every single person in Kufa that morning. Imam recites the azan and Imam starts his prayers. Amidst his prayers in the sajda, when Imam bows down, there Ibn Muljam La'natullah alayh quickly attacks the Imam, his head, and Imam, he is wounded, and there the mihrab, it's drenched in blood. Says Imam continues his prayers in the sitting posture and then says Bismillah wa billah wa ala millati Rasulullah, in the name of Allah, upon the nation of Rasulullah. Thumma sah al-Imam fuzzu wa rabbil Kaaba. He cries that, O Lord of the Kaaba, I found, by the Lord of Kaaba, I found salvation and prosperity. And then Imam starts saying that. Now here the reporters, they say that the wound or that hit, the sword that hit the Imam was exactly on the same wound that in the battle of Khandaq, Amr ibn Abdawad had hit the Imam alayhi salam. Imam over here says, Minha khalaqnakum wa fiha nu'idukum wa minha nukhrijukum taratan ukhra. With this dirt we were created, to this dirt we will return, and from that dirt we will be raised and resurrected once again. This is what hadha ma wa'adana Allah wa rasuluh wa sadaqa Allah wa rasuluh. This is what Allah had promised. This is what Rasulullah had promised. Says upon this Jibreel also he raises his cry, that is tahaddamat wallah arkanul huda. Hadith says that upon this attack on Amirulmomineen, says that tahaddamat wallah arkanul huda. This was the slogan or the announcement made by Jibreel, that the columns of hidayat and guidance, they collapsed, they shook. وانتمست والله نجوم السماء وأعلام التقى. Says the stars in the skies, they all dispersed. وانفسمت والله العروة الوثقى. The strong cord of Allah that shattered, it broke. قتل ابن عم المصطفى. The brother of Mustafa has been killed. قتل الوصي المجتبى. The successor, the chosen successor has been killed. قتل علي المرتضى. قتل سيد الأوصياء. قتله أشقى الأشقياء. The worst of the ashqiya of the men has killed the Imam alayhi salam. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها. يا الله 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 يا الله. اللهم أحينا حياة محمد وآل محمد وأمتنا ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارة محمد وآل محمد وفي الآخرة شفاعة محمد وآل محمد. ماتم حسين.
سلام علیکم.
علیکم السلام ورحمة الله.
امام رو به رهایی، امام روی زمین، امام